everyone, this is your teacher, Erin Fujinami, and let me get back to the right page. So this is your first lecture for class. This is our syllabus overview, and I wanted to do it this way so that you could share my screen and see how to access your syllabus. So if you log on to Canvas and you click on your dashboard, you'll see all of your courses here. I'm recording this when courses aren't published, so later on you'll see that your English class is up there with your courses that you can actually see. So you'll click on English 5A, and then you can get to the syllabus a couple of different ways. So the first thing you can do is you can go to this module here that says Welcome to English 5A, and the syllabus is available right here. Another way that you can get to it is by clicking on the syllabus link. So you've got a couple of different options. So I'm going to get to it by clicking on the syllabus right here. And either way, it's going to pull up the same information. Okay, so first of all, welcome to English. I know that it's online and that might not have been your first choice, but I've been teaching online for a long time now, and I actually prefer online classes, so I'm really comfortable and very used to it. So you're in good hands. One more quick announcement. I'm sick right now, so I'm losing my voice a bit, and if my voice kind of cuts out, I apologize for that. Also, I have dogs and children, and so if you hear dogs and or kids interrupt this lecture or any other one, I apologize. I do my very best to make sure that that doesn't happen, but of course, with everybody working and doing school from home, it's bound to happen at some point, so hopefully we won't be that interrupted. Okay, so let's go over some important things you need to know about our class. So first of all, let's make sure that you're in the right class. You're in English 5A, hopefully. If you did not mean to be in English 5A and you meant to be in English 10, for example, then take care of that now and let me know and or let your counselor know, and we'll get you switched over. But English 5A is the option where you do English 5A one semester and then 5B the next semester. We still cover all of the same information that we do in English 10, which is the other option. The only difference is that in English 5A, we take it a little bit slower and we have a little bit more built-in support. So if that's the option for you, then you're in the right place. Over here, we have our meeting information. So we meet entirely online. All of our assignments are posted weekly in Canvas. Usually I manage to post them earlier than that, so you can see multiple weeks of assignments ahead of time. But they're at the very least, you'll have a week to complete your assignments. Assignments are due on Wednesdays and Fridays on Canvas. Lectures are recorded just like this one, and they're posted to Canvas at the same time as assignments are posted. And then you can watch these lectures at a time that works for you. We don't have scheduled Zoom meetings, but if you would like to schedule a meeting where you can chat with me, you're welcome to do that, and just let me know that you want to schedule a meeting and we will work that out. Instructor information is here. As I said, my name is Erin Fujinami. This is my email address, so you can reach me there. I have office hours. They are online via Zoom. So you can drop into my office hours anytime you'd like to chat with me or ask a question. Those hours are Tuesday and Thursday between 8 and 10 a.m. And I also do my very best to be available by appointment because I know that everybody has, scheduling conflicts and we're all trying to work or, deal with other classes and all of that. So if that time period doesn't work for you, let me know and I will do my best to find a time where we can get together via Zoom. If you would like to visit those scheduled office hours, and that's Tuesday, Thursday from 8 to 10, just click on this meeting link here. If it asks you for the meeting ID, then that is right here. If you need the passcode, which I believe you will need that, you can copy and paste this passcode in. So those are my office hours. Feel free to stop by just like you would if we were on campus and you wanted to come by my office in person. Another really good way to reach me is the Remind app. I use the Remind app to stay in touch with my students, send reminders, and to answer quick questions. This app basically allows you to text me, and you can also contact each other. So it's a really good resource to use if you just have a quick question and you would like a quick response. I generally check my Remind notifications more frequently than I check my emails. So if it's a quick question, Remind is the way to go. If you would like to join our class on Remind, and I definitely recommend that you do because I send out important reminders there, you're going to text at and then all of these letters and numbers to the number 81010 and then follow the instructions to get the app if you don't have it already. You can also email me on Canvas. If you're emailing me on Canvas, you're going to use this inbox button right here, and you can email me through your Fresno State email, which is that Gmail account that you have. But I do prefer Remind if it's just something quick that we can handle, via text, and you'll get a faster response that way. But emails are totally fine too. Okay. So basic course information, you have a couple of required textbooks. One is They Say, I Say. The other one is a writer's reference, and this is a handbook. And then you also have the Norton Field Guide. So make sure that you have those. Immediate access information. If you're not familiar with an immediate access course, here's what it is. Basically, you have an online bookshelf that is available through Canvas, and automatically everybody has access to those required textbooks in their online bookshelf. So if that's okay with you and an ebook works fine for you, then you don't have to do anything else. You just leave it alone and you'll have access to that. Remember that you do get charged for your textbooks on your Fresno State account. If you have any questions about that or anything immediate access related, this is the person to contact because I don't have those answers or the ability to change any of that for you. So make sure you get in touch with this person here if you have questions about that. If you prefer a hard copy of your textbooks, or maybe you already got them somewhere else or something like that, and you would like to not have those ebooks, then you can opt out of the program. You need to make sure that you opt out of the program by September 1st if you do not want those ebooks, and if you do not want to be charged for them. Okay, so that's just a note about immediate access. If you have any questions about that, again, please make sure to contact this person here. Unfortunately, that's not something that I'm able to help you out with. Other required materials that you should have for our class. Access to Canvas. I know that for some students, doing things online was not your original game plan, and Canvas might be kind of new to you. So if that's the case, I've done my best to build in lots of support and tutorials to get you through, getting familiar with Canvas. But if you're having a really hard time, by all means, contact somebody in your group. We'll talk more about those groups later, or contact me, and I'm happy to give you some more tutorials and places that you can go to help you get familiar with Canvas. Also, you should have things to write with, so pens or pencils, a notebook or binder for this class. Highlighters are a good thing to have. You don't need necessarily to print things. It's okay with me if you do everything digitally. So instead of writing, let's say you're typing, that's fine. If you are annotating and highlighting things on an app instead of highlighting on paper, that's fine with me as long as you can get it done one way or another. Our course description and learning objectives are listed here for you so that you can understand what the goals of English 5A and 5B are. So if you would like to read through those, if you haven't already, I definitely recommend doing that just so you can understand sort of why we do the types of assignments that we do, because it's not just, busy work or because I like grading things, right? Instead, it's so that I can get you to a place where you are able to accomplish all of these things by the end of the semester. Okay, so here are all of those things that you should be able to accomplish by the end of the semester, and I'm fully confident that you guys will be able to do that. I apologize if it got a little bit loud. My air conditioner kicked on. When I'm recording this, we're in the middle of one of those lovely heat waves. I think it's like 110 outside. So I apologize if my AC is a little bit loud for you. I'll do my best to speak up above it. But as always with any of these recorded lectures, if you come across a problem where you couldn't hear me or you just need more information about something, feel free to reach out and let me know. Because I don't always go back and like watch the whole thing, you know. So if I miss something or there's a technology glitch, feel free to let me know. I would appreciate it. Okay, so on to grading and assignments. I use a regular point system in this class, so different assignments are worth different points. So here's how that works out. We have small writing assignments, which includes all of your classwork and homework type stuff, and those are worth 300 points. So that works out to about 30% of your grade. We have those big essays. So these are the final drafts of your large essays. We are writing 3 big essays this semester, and each one is worth 100 points for essay 1, 100 points for essay 2, and 200 points for essay 3. So this works out to about 40% of your grade, the essays. Quizzes and exams. We have 150 points available for all of the quizzes and exams given throughout the semester, so that's about 15% of your grade. And then we have portfolios. So the midterm portfolio is worth 50 points, and the final portfolio is worth 100 points, so 5 and 10% of your grade. One thing that is sort of, I don't know how to, it's something that happens in all of the English classes, we'll say that, is that this final portfolio is very important. So because of that, if you do not pass the final portfolio portion of the course, you automatically cannot pass the course. So let's say for some crazy reason you're going into the last week of school and you have an A in the class, but then you totally blow off and don't turn in your final portfolio, I actually have to give you an F in the class. So I've never had that happen because I make sure to remind everybody all the time and have it due early so that we have time if you forget to, try and get you squared away with that. But just be aware of that little caveat. It's something that's sort of unique to our department and, again, not really in my hands to control. So make sure that you turn in your final portfolio and you will be just fine. We will have a draft and a workshop, and I will see your final portfolio before you ever turn it in. And if there's anything in there that looks like it's going to be a problem for you, I will make sure I tell you exactly what to do to fix it so that you don't have to worry about any surprises when you turn in that final draft. So this part is a lot more scary than it sounds, but I do have to include it in the syllabus. Okay, so our total points possible for the entire class is 1,000 points. That might vary slightly if I decide to throw out a quiz, for example, or if I give an extra small homework assignment or something like that. So it might vary. Generally, it doesn't vary much at all. So the final grading breakdown, 90% and above is an A, 80 to 89% is a B, 70 to 79% is a C, 60 to 69% is a D, and if you're below 60% or if you do not turn in and pass that final portfolio, then you're given an F in the class. Any questions about the grading breakdown, please let me know, and you can reach me, in all of those ways that we mentioned. So remind, the inbox here where you can send me a message, or Fresno State email. Okay. So I have some descriptions here of just what to expect with each of those different types of assignments. So small writing assignments, this is just regular sort of homework and classwork type stuff. You'll have readings and lectures on various topics, and then you'll have discussion board posts where you respond to those topics. That's where all of those small writing assignments come in, and these are due on Wednesdays and Fridays. So make sure that you're getting used to and planning your schedule so that you can have these things submitted by Wednesday and Friday. If you would like to turn them in early for whatever reason, maybe you have a work schedule where these are bad days for you, or maybe you have a different class where you don't want to be turning everything in on those days. It is completely fine to turn them in early, but I do not accept late work, so make sure that you get those turned in on time. Our first assignment for week 1 isn't due until Friday because the instruction for our class doesn't start until Wednesday. So for this 1 week, you don't have anything due on Wednesday, but going forward, expect Wednesdays and Fridays will be your due dates. Again, you can see exactly what you're turning in by looking at the weekly modules, and that will tell you at the beginning of the week everything you need to read and everything you need to do for the whole week. So it should never be a surprise. Okay, quizzes and exams. We have quizzes and exams which are spread out throughout the semester. I don't do a midterm exam or a final exam. Instead, you have lots of little quizzes throughout the semester, and you have 4 small exams throughout the semester. So quizzes are worth 10 points and exams are worth 25. They're usually some combination of multiple choice and short answer questions, and they are timed. So for quizzes, you have 10 minutes. For exams, you have 50 minutes, and you'll always know when those are coming up. All of your exams and quizzes, just like everything else for this class, will be completed online. They are due on Wednesdays and Fridays. You can see when these are going to be due by looking at the schedule. Okay, essays and writing as a process. So it's important that you see essay writing as a process. And what that means for our class is that I will have you guys do different assignments that help you build the parts of your essay. So for example, I won't just say, here's an essay, turn it in at the end of the week. Instead, we'll be practicing the skills that you need. We'll be doing things like writing outlines and that kind of stuff to sort of build up to that essay. So keep that in mind and try to embrace writing as a process. It's a really important part of our class, and it will really help you in terms of succeeding in the essays. For online classes, which is you guys, remember that all workshops, rough drafts, and final drafts are completed online. Rough drafts of your essays are due on Mondays. So this is the only time when we have things that are due on a Monday, and it's those rough drafts. Workshops are usually due on Wednesdays, and final drafts are due on Fridays. Again, look at the schedule of classes for due dates. An important note about essays. Again, I don't accept late work, so make sure that you get them turned in on time. And the way that I handle essays for our class is this. So like I said, we'll be doing those sort of assignments that help you prepare for the essay. So you'll have written things like an outline or maybe done some brainstorming, and then you'll have some time to work on your draft. Then when your rough draft is due, what happens is you turn in the rough draft on time, and you automatically get an A for effort if you have the rough draft submitted on time and it's the page length that I've asked for. So I automatically give you full credit, which is 25 points, just for turning in a draft. Even if it's terrible, even if you hate it and you know you have a lot left to work on, that's fine. That's actually perfect because it gives us lots of stuff to talk about that you can do to make it better. Okay, so embrace that your rough draft is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. So once you turn in that rough draft, then what happens is I look at every rough draft, I read it all the way through, and I give you some feedback on what to work on. After you get my feedback, then you'll also have a workshop where you work with your groups or with other students to fix various issues on your draft. And then you turn in the final draft. And that's when you're turning it in for a grade. And I grade it with a rubric. And that's when you have the big, 100 points up for grabs. During that time, you'll also have a lecture from me where I will walk you through exactly what I'm expecting in the essay. I'll give you a sample student essay that you can read through so you can see what you're shooting for. And I'll also give you a copy of the rubric that I use to grade the final draft of the essay. So you have all kinds of stuff there to support you and to hopefully make writing those big essays a little bit less scary. So that is how we handle essays in our class. As always, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. And I'm happy to talk about anything that I cover in the syllabus that you would have questions about. Okay, course policies. Attendance. For attendance for an online class, the way that you get credit for being here is by doing your assignments on Canvas. All of my classes are currently full and waitlisted, so I have people who are contacting me asking if anyone has dropped and trying to get into that spot. So make sure that, especially during the first couple weeks of class, if you want to stay in the class, that you do your work. If there's some reason why you cannot do your assignments because you have an emergency or something comes up, just contact me and let me know so that I know to hold your spot and so that we can figure out a plan for how to get you back on track after you've missed an assignment or two. So people who do not complete the first couple of assignments may be dropped for non-attendance. That's not always the case. Apologies, coughing. That's not always the case. If you miss a couple of assignments and you really genuinely have an emergency and you contact me about it, we can work it out. But if you miss stuff and you don't tell me in the first couple of weeks, I'm going to assume that you want to be dropped from the class and someone else will come in and take your spot. So let me know if you can't complete your work. Some important dates to be aware of. If you're still, moving things around with your class schedule, that's totally fine. Just be aware that the last day to add a class is September 16th. After that, you can drop with a partial refund. After that, you can drop with no refund, but you get a W instead of a grade. And then you can drop with a serious and compelling reason during those last few weeks. After that, the last couple weeks of class is you can only withdraw entirely from the university if it's a really dire emergency. So be aware of those dates. If for some reason you find that this class just isn't right for you, please make sure that you drop it so that someone else can have your spot. Okay, makeup and late work. Typically, I don't accept late work unless there's an emergency, but I do understand that emergencies happen. So if you really have something that comes up and you can't get your work in, please just let me know so that we can work it out. There are lots of ways to avoid late work if you have to, miss class. You can turn things in early. These are options you would have if we were in person, but we are not. You can turn things in early. You can email me your work if you absolutely need to, but try not to have that happen because work that gets emailed to me typically gets lost a lot easier than work that is turned in where it needs to be. I have a lot of students and only one of me, so emailing me your work is not my preferred method. It's like in case of emergencies, okay? Another thing that you can do is just ask me for some extra time. The worst thing I can say is no, and generally, if this hasn't been happening a lot, I will give you that extra time on one or two assignments. However, if conveniently you have, an aunt pass away or a dog get lost every time we have an assignment, then I'm going to start to think that something's up, right? But if you ask me for extra time and it's not every time we have an assignment, there's an option that I'll just say, yeah, take an extra couple of days because life happens. In addition to just, trying to plan accordingly so that you don't have late work, you also have a one-time per semester option to just mess up, and that's where the plea comes in. So every semester, each student has one opportunity to use the plea if necessary. This allows you to make up or resubmit an assignment you missed or one that you aren't happy with. So if you would like to use your plea within 1 week of that missed assignment, you just need to get in touch with me and say, hey, I'd like to use my plea on this assignment. We'll work out the details of how and when you're going to submit that. Once you've used your plea, you can't use it again, and you cannot use it once we start work on Essay 3. And there's no benefit to saving it. You don't get extra credit or anything like that. So if you miss an assignment or you just, do badly on an assignment, remember that this is there to help you so that you can resubmit or submit late. Accessing Canvas in your student email, you absolutely have to be in the habit of checking Canvas for our class. So I recommend getting into some sort of a routine that works for you. Maybe you check it on Sundays or, whatever day to look at the schedule of classes so that you know what's coming up for the week. Also, your student email is really the only way that I have of getting a hold of you. So check your inbox on Canvas, check your student email, and get in our class on Remind so that you can get reminders there as well. All of our documents, including assignments, homework, etc., will all be available on Canvas. So again, if you're not familiar, utilize those tutorials and ask for help when you need it so that we can get you caught up with Canvas. The Remind app, I've mentioned it a couple of times. If you are not already in our class on Remind, please make sure to add yourself to our class on Remind by texting and then following those directions. Collaboration and community is a big part of how I run our classroom. So even though we're online, it's still really important that you have a sense of community and that you collaborate with your peers. So for that reason, everybody has been added to a group, and I will send out directions about how to access your group, how to figure out which group you're in, and then that is your group for the rest of the semester. So I definitely encourage you to get in touch with each other and to start planning, how are we going to contact each other? How often are we going to check in? What do we do if somebody just falls off the face of the earth and stops doing their assignments? Are we going to reach out and help them? I've had students who, really do make good friends out of just being in, their groups from English 5A or 5B or 10. And especially with you guys for English 5A and 5B, you're all in the same class for 2 semesters and you have the same teacher for 2 semesters. So collaborating together and getting that sense of community built is really important. So I definitely encourage you to reach out to your groups, get in touch, and help each other out. Technology use and the cookie policy, this applies to in-person classes, so don't worry about that. Academic integrity, make sure that you do not plagiarize. I will find out, and it will be an uncomfortable conversation for us. It will result in a 0 on the assignment. It can result in being dropped from the class. And if it's your second time, it can also result in having a follow-up with the dean. It's just a whole lot of paperwork and uncomfortable talks with lots of people. So don't plagiarize. If you're having a hard time and you're panicking on an assignment, rather than having somebody else write it for you, rather than stealing it from somewhere on the internet, just ask me for more time. And that's a much better road to take, trust me. Accommodations for students with disabilities. If you have any sort of a disability that means that you need accommodations, it's important that you let me know as soon as possible so that I can get you everything that you need to be successful in class. So please don't hesitate to get in touch about that. University-sponsored events. If you are going to be missing class for university-sponsored events, you need to let me know within the second week of classes. Otherwise, those absences are not excused. Since everything is online, it might be that you can complete everything that you need to while you're away. If that's the case, then great. But otherwise, let me know and as soon as possible so that we can make a plan for how to make sure you don't get behind while you're away at those university events. There's a whole bunch of information here about how to get extra help in various ways. So the first thing is tutoring options. We have lots of great options for tutoring available on campus. And since we've done distance learning, those things should still be available online through things like Zoom. I know that as an instructor, I'm still able to chat with everybody that I need to get, help on my end with Zoom. And I'm pretty sure that the tutoring centers have done those things too. I know for sure the Writing Center has. So tutoring is there and it's a great resource. In addition to just helping you score better on your assignments and your essays, you also get up to 50 points of extra credit for attending tutoring. It says on campus, but online tutoring is just fine. So if you are going to tutoring, remember to keep track of the dates that you went, how long you spent with the tutor, and what you worked on. So keep that information handy so that at the end of the semester, I will give you 10 points for each 40-minute session that you attended. And you max out at 50 points. So if you go to more than 5 sessions, that's great, and it will almost always improve your grade. However, you can only get up to 50 points. But in a 1,000 point class, 50 points of extra credit is huge. It makes a very big difference. So please go to tutoring. There are links here. This one is to My Fresno State. That's where you need to go for all things like paying tuition, getting your class schedule, all of the stuff. Canvas support. There is a Canvas support website here. I've also collected and listed lots of additional resources that will help you with Canvas, and they're in the very first module that says Welcome to English, Start Here. So that's there for you as well. The bookstore. Contact the bookstore if you have any questions about getting your books. As I mentioned, though, this class is we have ebooks sort of built in already. So if the ebooks work for you, then you may not need the bookstore. Information about the library and their website. They have lots of resources for you. Even if you're not going in there in person, you can still access lots of useful tutorials and things like that. Student Services website is here, and then other helpful programs for different things that are available to our students. Some general links and help for you beyond the classroom. So health and wellness, we've got health and psychological support available for our students, especially right now when we are all going through so much extra stress. Please, take advantage of these things if that's something that you need, which, right now, everybody needs that kind of help, I think. The student cupboard as well. We have lots of food and supplies and things like that. I know the last time I checked, they were doing like a drive-through system for this. So this has been updated to deal with our current situation and allow for social distancing, but also still help our students. So please take advantage of these things. You pay for them with your tuition. You should absolutely benefit from them. If you need anything else that isn't listed, just ask me. I'm really happy to connect you with any type of resources that I can that can help you succeed. Okay, so that brings us to the schedule of classes. How to read this schedule. So the first column, which is this here, my lines are not showing up for some reason, so I apologize, but they're still separated. So the first column shows the date and the week. This is important for Canvas because this is how our information is stored on Canvas. It's in modules, which is basically like an online folder, and it will say week 1 materials and readings, and then week 2 materials and readings. So keep track of which week we're in. The second column here shows your weekly readings, videos, lectures, quizzes, and essays. So this is where you know what is due for the week. And then lastly, you've got this column over here, which has reminders. So that tells you, things that you need to make sure to do that week. So you can see that for week 1, your reading assignment is just the syllabus and schedule. This is the schedule. And then lectures, the syllabus overview, which you're viewing now. And then you have one more, which is an introduction to Canvas. And then you have reminders here. So things you should do this week. Number 1, read the syllabus and schedule of classes. Watch those week 1 lectures. Get in touch with your groups. And then you have your first discussion and your first quiz due this week. Your first discussion is just an introduction, letting us get to know you a bit. And then your first quiz is an extra credit quiz that is on the syllabus. Both of these are due on Friday since instruction didn't start until Wednesday. You'll notice if you scroll through here that I have the entire schedule for the whole semester that already posted for you. So if you would like to work ahead, you are welcome to. If you want to look through and write down when big things are due, like for instance, our midterm portfolio or an essay 2, or exams, whatever it is. But I definitely recommend going through and looking at due dates and just sort of making a note of when big things are due, because my guess is that English is not your only class. My other guesses are that you probably have some things like a family or a job, things that you need to take care of. So by making sure that you have some notes to yourself, like, hey, I have my first essay due on Sunday, what is that, the 5th? That way, you can sort of give yourself a little bit more notice and sort of plan for your success, because what you don't want to have happen is that you don't look at, maybe week 3 until week 3, and then you realize, oh man, I have an essay and an exam, and I also have this other big project in this class, and I have a really busy week at work. So if you look ahead and make a note of these dates, hopefully it'll help alleviate some of that stress because you know what's coming in this class. So you can see that this schedule is done all the way through our final exam, which we don't have, but our final exam week. And so you can look all the way through the end of the semester whenever you would like to. Okay, so that is our syllabus. If you have any other questions, let me know. And I'm really happy to have everybody in class. I look forward to getting to know all of you. And I know that you're all going to do great.